Welcome to Suitcase, disc by disc, where we, oh shit, I messed up.
Hello, welcome to Suitcase, disc by disc, hosted by the Tin Can Laughter. I'm Ben.
I'm Dan.
And we're going to go through all 16 discs of the Guided by Voices Suitcase collections. It's a wonderful, wonderful wasteland where anything can happen. There's a lot of gold.
It's amazing. Yes, so much.
Yeah, whether you're a long time... Whether you're a long-time Guided by Voices listener or you're just getting into the deeper cuts, there's something here for everyone.
I totally agree, and I might as well mention that when I got into GBV, this was one of the first things I listened to.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not.
Wow.
It had just come out, like this was like 2001 or so, and I was in college. I was probably your age.
Yeah,
and,
actually, yeah.
Yeah. And I had heard about this, and I had already started to, I was way into other bands, like deep, like Pavement or like the Mountain Goats or stuff at the time. And I heard about the Suitcase before it even came out, but there's probably like an interview or an article about it. And I was just like, this sounds amazing. I was like, if I get into this band, I'm probably gonna go crazy, knowing that he's got a whole suitcase full of like demos and stuff. And then there was an article online that I actually just dug up. It was somebody was reviewing Suitcase song by song, and they actually read it, and I was just like, oh, this sounds so cool. So when I started downloading stuff and I started getting albums and I was listening to like E1000 and Alien Lanes, I was also listening to Suitcase tracks. So it was pretty fun.
I was a wee lad when Suitcase came out. Yes. I was a month or two away from turning 2 years old, so I guess my perspective's different. I know how I found Suitcase was, I'm going to say later 2012. I want to say later 2012.
Okay, yeah.
I hadn't gotten into any of Bob's solo stuff. It was a slow journey through GBV. Like late 2012 means I know I'd listened to Bears to Lunch because that was new. I've been listening to them for about half a year. I don't think I'd heard Isolation Drills. I think that was the last album for me, and that certainly took a while to click. So I don't think I'd heard Isolation Drills. A bunch of the mid-90s EPs I hadn't heard yet. But I was starting to get more interested because I liked the Back to Saturn X stuff. And I was looking for more of that, and I found out, there's a few songs there on this thing called Suitcase, and I looked at it, and I saw 100 songs, and thought, wow. And I guess I must have listened to it for the first time early 2013, because I made a Spotify account to listen to the Suitcases.
Well, so the cool thing, I have the booklet here with me, so I don't know if you've ever looked at it, but it gives like credits and years and
that's on the
stuff like that. So.
That's on the database.
Oh, okay.
And then I know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then I know that the Settlers fixed up some of the dates. Should we get started?
Let's get started.
All right.
Yeah.
So track one, first disc of 16, track 1 of 25 on this disc. The Terrible Two, attributed to
Styles.
Styles We Paid For, which is the name of the next Guided by Voices album.
That's a nice callback or tie-in or something.
Yeah. The Terrible Two, I do believe, I imagine this wasn't common knowledge at the time, but there's a song that has popped up on other bootlegs called Stumbling Blocks to Stepping Stones. And it's the same song, but with a different lyrics and a different vocal melody.
Yeah, and it kind of comes together. I think like the little like bridge part or the chorus is the same, and the guitar solo is the same.
Guitar solo, I think.
Yeah.
So what were we gonna say?
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say I think this is like the better version to me. The melody is really good. The song just kind of is awesome, and so
I gotta disagree.
One of the better. Oh yeah.
Well, because I've heard 4 versions of Stumbling, and there's 2 that show up on bootlegs. There's the acoustic version that I love, and the electric version, which I do not care for. Then there's another
like a demo-ish.
Yeah, and there's an 80s version on Suitcase 3, and then there's this, which sounds like... There was an interview, I think, where Bob talked about, I think, 1996 recording with Greg Demos and Don Thrasher, and I'm pretty sure this is from that.
I agree, yeah.
And there's...
In the booklet, it says 1993. But
No, this would be 96.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it has. Yeah.
The way it sounds, I could believe it being 93, but it's probably in that. If it's recorded with Sacred Space, it's 96.
Yeah, there you go. Kind of like a weird, or maybe 96, or maybe even like earlier, like slightly like Under the Bushes era, like either before or after it. Is that
probably before? Now that you put it, yeah, probably before. So 94, 95. So that makes a little more. Yeah, it's definitely from then. I like the lyrics.
Yeah, we're gonna drive the Thunderbird through Canada.
I'm not supposed to tell you.
Yeah.
I love how this starts the Suitcase. This starts the whole thing because it's
boom.
Yeah, every instrument right there on the first beat. Like you can't skip past something like that. It's because it's so immediate.
Yeah, it's an iconic opening track, even if it's a supposed like outtake or whatever.
Yeah,
it's a great one.
Yeah, and
there's another lyric. Oh, he says like up to the tundra, out of element. What's
wait, up to the tundra, out of focus and out of element, and out of element.
Yeah.
That one clicked for me last week. I finally figured out what he was saying. Don't leave any clues. You have any notes? Don't leave any notes for Carol. What was that spark in your eye? I don't remember all of it offhand, but it's
okay.
Oh yeah,
I'll give that one a million stars out of 10.
I don't want to try to like rate these or anything. I think there's only.
No, I only do joke ratings.
Yeah.
So.
Track 2, Blood Beast.
Blood Beast.
It
says Blood Feast on Spotify.
Yeah, it does. Beast. Yeah, known in the really deep circles as one-track record by Nightwalker.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah.
I think this one is it's hilarious. The first line, "Blood Beast enters heaven, the battle has begun."
Yeah.
And then, which is just so ridiculous on itself, but then it's subverted by the next line, "Put him on the guest list, Blood Beast +1." Love that.
Yeah. What I like about Blood Beast, I hated Blood Beast the first time I heard it, but it really grew on me. Is this is one of the what I believe to be 1997 Do the Collapse demos recorded with Dave Doman.
Yes, agreed. You can kind of tell, like, it's got that very, almost like weird prog, but simple, like riffage.
Yeah.
Just like that one chord riff.
Yeah, and it's a weird chord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's the kind of chord you don't. It's the kind of chord you don't consciously come up with. It's the kind of chord that you put your fingers on the fretboard to just roll with something.
And once you get through that first section where it's just that one chord, like the other part is really soulful. Like he's really belting it out, and it's like, I don't know. It's a great vocal. It's cool. It's like the definition of like it's not. It wouldn't work on an album. As a full band, I don't think. Like
it could.
Kind of slight.
I think it could.
It's perfect.
I think it could because one-track record exists, which is like this fleshed out. It's the kind of thing that would work in like if Bob recorded at Cybertechnics again. If he recorded there again, a full band Blood Beast would be like that would be the best song in the album.
Okay, I think you sold me on that. That would be
that
would be pretty fun.
Like if speaking of stuff. Track 3, The Kissing Life. Wow. I love this song.
I love this song too. It's
it should have been Undo the Collapse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think it would have fit on Do the Collapse?
Well, given the kind of record that Rick Ocasek wanted it to be, no. Like, James Riot would have fit anyway because it's James Riot. But, like, I don't know. See, I could say it would fit, but then I'd have to start taking out songs, and it's like, well, then it's not, Rick's vision anymore. And that's sort of what Do the Collapse is, but
Alright, the Suitcase version to me, especially just because of the way it sounds, is it's almost like a throwback to like B1000 or something. It's like kind of that anthemic quality.
I wouldn't compare
low.
I guess my thing with Kissing Life is I I have a hard time envisioning it on an album because it has such a slow intro. It takes its sweet time getting started, and that makes it hard to put on an album.
Exactly. And it stays on the intro and the first verse is all in that one chord. So when it finally switches to like I adore, it's like I love that sort of buildup of tension, and it's when you break it down, it's I don't really think there's like, I think it's just one verse and it's something you can call a chorus.
Kissing Life doesn't conform to a typical song structure, and therefore probably wouldn't.
It just doesn't sound like what was going on with Do the Collapse, which it was demoed for. You know, it doesn't. It's not like chunky. It's not kind of angular. It's
and it's
very
not
simple and beautiful,
and it's not. It's not thunderous enough to be something like Sons of Apollo, which also takes its time getting started, but explodes when it does.
Exactly. It's not like a guitar fest either for the band or for Doug.
Yeah, it just kind of is, but it's really good at being that.
It's super good. Something about the vocals, how Bob kind of slips into like a speak sing kind of thing, like and I'm surprised. Like at the end of the first line, it's really cool. He like when he does that, like his kind of speaking voice, gives it a real kind of, to me, like a kind of epic feel to it. I don't know, like I think back to those weird like Acid Ranch songs where he's kind of like narrating, and you know, it's almost like sci-fi or like a radio show or something. I don't know. The next song, I don't know.
I don't have anything to say about Fantastic Bastard.
Fantastic Bastard. The only interesting thing I think about this song, I mean, it's a cool song.
Yeah,
like, I can dig it.
Yeah, but
Toby
it's got
and Tui are like got a little groove going, and Bob's just spitting some extemporaneous sounding thing over it. I think that it's the brother or cousin to Particular Damage. A handful of other songs that are floating around. And all have the same,
like Mr. Japan, which I think is like
exactly.
Like
they all have the same writing credits. So
I think it's the same.
Session.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, my thing with Bottoms Up is the one thing everyone says about that song is that it has that great "We Are the Disco Police." You're getting back on the bus or something. That's back there with us. That's a great line. But the rest of the song doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, it kind of has a long instrumental section to it. So.
Yeah, you could say it meanders. Like, it's not a bad song. I want to clarify for the listeners at home that I'm not going to declare any song as objectively bad. Well, I will, but not on this disc.
It's also 3.5 minutes, so it's the longest song so far. That's it's also not so far it's the weakest song of the first 4. So
and it's funny you mention it being long because Tear It Out is gorgeous. 4.5 minutes. Bob, vocal, guitar, maybe one guitar, maybe like one guitar or synth overdub or something. Those Ben Zing tracks. I hope there's.
Zing.
I would love there to be more. I love the Ben Zing tracks.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Even to hear them all together, like, could you imagine like maybe a vinyl release or something with all the Ben Zing Suitcase tracks?
At this point, if there was more, I could see Bob making that a Hot Freaks thing.
The booklet lists Tear It Out as 88. I think that sounds about, that's probably right. Definitely around there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, considering one of the Zing tracks, I think on disc 2 pops up a little in same place. Those tracks are definitely already done. 88 sounds about right.
Yeah, you're right. In what them. Do you think these were recorded in Wilbur's garage?
Oh because it sounds like Wilbur's garage to me for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
so I think what's interesting is like, what were these songs? These songs are very ambitious. They're long. They have multiple sections. They're very
pretty too.
Almost uncharacteristically like almost like fussy for Bob in terms of like arrangement, even though they're just bare bones guitar and vocals, but the structure is very planned out.
It's very thought out. And
so I wonder what
we have
his idea was.
That's a good point, Bob. You're right, because all the songs are very clearly thought out, very clearly arranged. no idea what Bob was going to do with them. I mean, I think it's Wilbur's Garage because, I don't know, I think just the masters sound a little better. Like,
who knows, like, yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. They sound good.
Like, there's a lot of mystery 80s songs on the second Suitcase. That's what characterizes Suitcase 2 for me, is a lot of random 80s songs that are like Bob before he really hit his stride. Whereas, like, Ben Zing is Bob basically the moment everything clicked. Except it doesn't sound anything like the stuff that, happened after it. Like, these songs wouldn't fit on any of the albums from the time. I don't know where they'd fit.
Exactly.
I can't. Yeah,
they're just kind of their own thing, their own little like universe. It's pretty great.
Yeah, and like, there's usually like a point every year where I'll plan out. All right, I'm gonna make full band versions of Suitcase songs, and there's always a ton of Ben Zing tracks, and it never gets recorded because these Ben Zing songs don't need any more than this. Like, Tear It Out's 4.5 minutes long. You don't need anything else.
There's a section. By the way, is the audio okay? You were cutting out a little just then, so I want to make sure you can hear me.
Oh, I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay, cool. I was gonna say about Tear It Out. There's a long section that could be like, sounds like the section that a band would be jamming out and playing solo or something.
Yeah, that's so, like Doug absolutely ripping it there. If you imagine it, like, you could imagine that.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Bring back the Ben Zing. That's what I say.
Yeah.
I want more Ben Zing.
Yeah.
Maybe some King of Cincinnati too,
Anyway, cinnamon flavored skulls. I don't know what to do with this. I like it.
This is funny because it's like it's 35 seconds.
It's
kind of like
drums. It's drums and backing vocals. I love the backing vocals.
Yeah.
What? It's like this song is. It's like, so what's the gut? Should I listen to Suitcase? If you could do cinnamon flavored skulls, you're ready for Suitcase.
And the fact that and it's sandwiched between two songs.
Juggernauts.
I think objectively great. So
yeah, like, what's next? Bunko Men? God, that was a treat. Let's just talk about Bunko Men. I don't want to spend too long talking about it because I think we know the general vibe of Bunko Men now, which is, I mean, they brought it back.
That's amazing.
And it kills. And the story I'd heard probably on DTS was that it was supposed to be on Under the Bushes, but they lost the tape.
Yeah.
What intrigues
some people were saying that, but
I don't know. Hot Freak said, I think, written in '93, but it only said written in '93. It said originally recorded in '96 or whenever. To my ears, I'm not sure because the way the drums are mixed isn't like anything from the '90s, but the way Bob sings isn't like anything from the '80s either. I almost wonder if Bunko Men could have been a Mag Earwig outtake. Honestly, it could have been on. Everything in the world is a Mag Earwig outtake, but
yeah. I'd have to say, I think the Hot Freaks email kind of shed some light that maybe it was recorded like just after Under the Bushes, like same lineup as Under the Bushes, but for potentially for the next album that ended up being Mag Earwig. So that would explain really well why it kind of got left to the wayside.
Yeah.
In some ways, because I feel like that also explains where something like the Sucker of Pistol City came from.
Oh, good call. Or Tainted Angels with Butter Knives. I like Bad and Rare.
Bad and Rare. It sounds like sitar.
Yeah. Was it? I like how he sings it. Bad and Rare, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
That's an awesome song. Yeah.
Like, I don't like.
It stands out. It's like. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's 1 minute long. It's a cool song. It's got a memorable sound to it.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sorry.
The weird little like hammer riff.
It's like always. Fun. Yeah. But it sounds like Always Crush Me in a way. There's a comparison there.
Nice. Interesting. I like that. Yeah. I always think of Dying to Try This. It has a weird picking style that is so Bob Pollard. Like, who else writes little riffs like that you would just have going throughout an entire song, you know? It's just,
and it's like, and it's Bob's unplugged harmony rocket. See, once you know that guitar isn't an acoustic, but like an unplugged hollow body, like, it recontextualizes not every GVV song, but like all the Suitcases are suddenly a little different.
Yeah.
Because you can tell at the moment you hear it. Like the Heavy Crown demo has it. I can tell it immediately. I don't know if it's the one on Dorothy's a Planet. I do not know if Dorothy's a Planet is a harmony rocket or an acoustic guitar. I think it's the rocket, but the way it sounds makes it hard to tell.
I always think of this one as acoustic, but maybe I just need to listen to it.
Yeah, the Spaceships version of this is great, by the way.
Yeah,
gotta put it out
I got to see them do that live in Cleveland before Planets of Plastic came out, and that was really nice. Because this has always been like a standout track, I would say, on Suitcase.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's a great song. So I'm glad they got a studio treatment. The Suitcase booklet says it's from '91, but it also says it's from his Concert for Todd.
Yeah, I still don't know what Concert for Todd is. It has
a few other things that Suitcase 1.
It has a bunch of Suitcase 1 songs. As far as I can tell, all of them got remade. All the Concert for Todd songs. So it's Dorothy's a Planet, On Shortwave, Good Circuitry Soldier. Those all got remade. I don't remember if there's a fourth one. And then there's the alternate version of Man Called Aerodynamics on Delicious Pie.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
So my recollection, and I could be totally wrong, but Todd is Todd from like Luna Records.
Okay.
Maybe?
Todd Robinson from Luna. Okay.
Yeah. And that Bob made him a tape to trade for like a rare record that he wanted. And that's the Concert for Todd, like a little just like personal concert, or like Bob playing some demos and just recording them and giving them to this guy. So
that makes sense.
That definitely didn't happen in '91. I would say is probably more like '98 or so.
Pluto the Skate. Man.
Pluto the Skate
was born way too late. It's it's a slightly. I mean, I know this was. I could see this being '92 because the acoustic bit is just so lo-fi. But it's a good thing that this got repurposed as Cat Food in the Earwig, because Cat Food's great.
Yeah,
I don't know about
and then
this.
It ended up pretty much untouched on 0 to 99. So it's kind of an interesting journey for this weird little song.
It sounds like it's funny. Yeah, I know it's 0 to 99, and I'm pretty sure Slushy himself said that it's John playing the drums just really sloppily. But it sounds like the way Slushy plays drums very poorly on like one or two of the tracks on Turn to Red. Like if Pluto the Skate somehow had been on Turn to Red, you wouldn't think something was odd, because that's what that album sounds like. It sounds like a Takeover song.
Oh, you're right. It's basically like a Takeovers track on the Boston Spaceships record.
Yeah. I don't really know what else you can say about Pluto the Skate, really.
It's just a weird song. I wouldn't expect it. I remember when the track list to 0 to 99 came out, and I was like, oh, Pluto the Skate. Like, I was expecting it to be like a big rock remake, and I was kind of picturing it with like more of a groove or something.
And it's the same song.
Yeah, so it just comes out, and it's just like, oh, it's this, and it's kind of added to a little bit, and it sounds cool.
Yeah.
I think it works.
Let's go, Vike. I do not know what a Vike is. All I know is, I think I would kill a man to hear this song. Maybe not. But
I mean, like,
someone has to do this again. And I don't mean the other version of the song that's also on this Suitcase. I mean this. With the shuffle beat, this song needs to be like this lineup could bring it back.
Yeah. Do they have? I'll have to compare maybe when we get to the other version of this song, because there's another version later on the Suitcase. But do they have like a different kind of beat to them?
Yeah, they do have a different beat, because the other one is a very straightforward sort of 4/4, and this sort of shuffles along. And I think this version is my favorite of the two.
And so this one was meant for the Learning to
Hunt.
LP.
Yeah, this is the first Learning to Hunt song here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Every now and then I wonder, because Self-Inflicted Aero Nostalgia is one of my favorite GV albums. But then you look at the tracks that were on Learning to Hunt. It's like some of them I think reflect the sort of Suitcase 2 80s Bob that hadn't quite, gotten into the groove of making really weird, accessible songs. But then there are tracks like this that got cut. It's like, that shouldn't have gotten cut. It should have gone somewhere. Sabotage.
Oh man.
Not a Hot Rods fan.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you've heard that or you know.
I have.
I'm sure you've heard it.
I have Bigger Trouble. I have that album. I don't know why I do. It exists.
Every once in a while I put it on. It exists. There's some moments that are pretty fun, like
no, there
Farewell
are.
to Arms.
Oh, Farewell to Arms rules. And this is like, it sounds like he's channeling a bit of Lennon, and I don't like John Lennon. I don't.
There's a like growl to his voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty funny. And then of course he was pretty cavalier about releasing the
Hot Rods?
whole Hazard Hot Rod session like right immediately after Suitcase, pretty much.
Yeah.
I bet he just found it funny.
Yeah, probably. Like it's definitely
the fact that it's like all of one kind of piece, like
just
really bizarre mix of like bar band jamming plus like completely improvised song. It's almost like
with
avant-garde.
Like it's not like the music is bad. It's just not really my thing. You know, it is my thing. You know, it is my thing. I want to talk about these two songs together because they're two of the greatest injustices connected to Suitcase. Pink Drink deserved to be revealed to the world as Pink Drink. Festering Moon is good, but Pink Drink is better. And
absolutely, Pink Drink fucking rocks.
Oh my god. And James Riot. Do we have to talk about James Riot, or can we just accept that it's like the greatest song of all time?
It basically is, yeah.
Exactly. It really is.
I would love for both of those to come back in some form. Pink Drink, even though it was sort of released in the form of Beneath the Festering Moon in the slowed down version. That version does not work.
Yeah, well,
really?
I mean, Festering Moon works. Festering Moon is to Pink Drink what Oh Blinky is to Let's Go Vice. It loses the shuffle. It loses the sort of the da-da-da-da-da-da, which really fits the song. Like, Pink Drink is great because it moves kind of like that.
Yeah, Pink Drink it almost has a swing to it.
It does have a
little
swing.
riff.
It's a great.
I love when Bob does those little one-string riffs.
Yeah, like I don't remember.
Do you remember when Jim Greer was he was blogging a lot and he was posting songs a lot?
I have seen those posts.
He was talking about his time with GBV a lot, and he was talking about recording rehearsals, like a full band rehearsal.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Drink,
yeah, and
Kim
it's like
Deal's basement.
Yeah, and it's like you gotta have that somewhere. Like,
but Pink Drink. So let's hope that the full band rehearsal version surfaces someday.
Yeah,
that would make my day.
That would be the sort of.
Yeah.
That's the sort
James Riot, like that one needs to come back.
Yeah, especially because now, the Suitcase, a demo came out through Hot Freaks, and it's sludgy. It's sludgy. I love that. It's like this. It's easy. 47 seconds.
It's what a gem. I mean, it's such an easy song to overlook because I certainly did until it got remade on Crawling Distance.
Crawling Distance,
where it turns into an epic.
Oh my god, it's like Crawling Distance is one of my favorite Robert Pollard albums. And it's easy, it's great because you'd never think that needs to get remade, but it's sort of like how I'd Choose You turned into Heavy Like the World is. It's not a straight adaptation. It's a new song built off an old song. And you're right. It's easy. Just basically, it's not very much to work off here. But the full version, it's like no, that song was always there. It just wasn't done.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love that other section that once you go out of that catchy version, that riff.
And then like there's a key change because Bob does key changes like they're nothing. Dankstar Ground Control. Does anyone like this song? I
like it.
Yeah, I like it. It's weird. I think the weirdest thing is it's a B1000 outtake, and a lot of it's really noisy and sounds kind of weird. But the drums are very good.
The drums are awesome.
Yeah. I have no idea when or where this could have been recorded.
The drums are really strange. It credits Kevin Fennell. The drums
I could see that being him. 'Cause it's,
and it says Oh, that's funny. I thought Toby was on this one, but he's not credited at all. It's just Bob, Dan Toohey on bass, and Kevin on drums.
See, that sounds like Bob could. That sounds like a lineup you come up with when you don't remember who played on a song. Although who knows? It could have been those three. But
the feeling I get from this one is it was like a jam. Just
qualify remainder. Yeah, like qualify remainder.
Yeah. Kevin's messed around, and then vocals were added later.
Oh yeah.
And I like this one because the vocals are really cool. Like it's not a song with an immediate hook, but I like it. Whatever context it is on the B-1000 director's cut, like I just remember. I think it's early in the album, but it sounds cool. It's a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it should not have been on B-1000, so that was a good call. But
I think Psychology Today fills that void a little better.
Oh yeah, almost reminds. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
This one almost reminds me of something that would have been on Vampire and Titus. Maybe more.
It sounds too good.
Like
it sounds too good. It sounds too good to be on Vampire and Titus.
Too good.
Like it sounds better. Like the mix, like the master, just sounds better than B-1000, and that's what makes it so weird.
Yeah.
It's
because it's very clear. There's a lot of space. It's just got those staccato chords.
Yeah.
Weird drums. Yeah. Cool song.
Yeah. You know, another song is cool. Oh god. Spring Tigers, man. Spring Tigers is so good.
Amazing. It's such a good, catchy, feel-good song. I like both versions. I mean, the acoustic one, it works better, I think, on the EP. Just because
on
a lot of the other songs are like
but
that,
Spring Tigers could have been on Propeller. Like, you'd have to fuck it up, of course. Like, Spring Tigers, it would absolutely belong in Propeller. I don't know where you put it, but...
Yeah.
Like, maybe not Propeller, but that song had to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's a great track.
Yeah. I want to hear that again. I want to hear GBV do that again.
By the way, Spring Tigers, the band name is Crushed Being Groovy, which I always liked. And, So, that's a gem.
Mm-hmm. Born on Seaweed.
Oh,
this?
Okay.
Love it. Love it.
I agree. This is an amazing song. I think it's one that's often overlooked, but it's another one that where Bob is doing this kind of almost drony chord. Like he's banging on this one chord pretty much for a lot of it, and it's got a very interesting rhythm that is so counterintuitive. I mean, only Bob does these kinds of things sometimes.
Like
He's got this rhythm established, and you're like, how does he even like sing over that and play?
And then he does.
Yeah.
And I think, just based on the sound, well, for one thing, I know the chord shape, because I've played the song myself to figure it out. It's the same shape that Maggie Turns to Flies has.
Okay, I think it was a D shape.
It's a D shape.
Play it around.
Yeah. I think based on just the way it sounds, I think this was... You'd think people would talk about this more, that there was a period in the late 90s and early 2000s where Bob owned and used a 4-track. I think Dave from the Grifters gave him one, and it's like, was it the Selective Service tracks, Back to the Navy and Color Code Drawing are both probably 4-track recordings, and I think this is, I'm almost positive, because...
The liner notes say 2000 on this one.
I buy that. I absolutely buy that. Because, there's a tone to the songs Bob was writing for Isolation Trills.
That's true. Yeah, Born on Seaweed, underrated track. I think this one could work in a new context if Bob ever wants to revisit it. Yeah. It's just, it's very cool. The vocals are very cool. The lyrics are pretty wild and funny. There's a line where he says, he's a prick
born on horniness. Born at time change. Born on seaweed.
Amazing.
Yeah,
How can you not love it?
But I almost don't know how you could do a song like that in any way other than this.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs that is made to be Suitcase. Flesh Ears from June. I like it. I don't love it.
I would love this one. I would say I love it.
Yeah, that's
the melody. It's so pure and good. And the vocal is
Bob.
It's undeniable.
It's twee Bob, which he doesn't really do.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I like that.
I think of it as like early Beatles, Bob.
I can see that. Except instead of being, I want to hold your hand, am I loving? Flesh Years from June. That's a name that makes sense.
I'm just surprised the Beatles never had an early single called Flesh Years from June,
That would have been great.
Driving in the US of A.
Yes. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to say it. Yes. I like Driving in the US of A. It is noise. It is just noise. Yeah, it is noise. It is unfiltered noise, and it's really good at being that.
So, I don't know what your college experience is like right now with all the pandemic craziness.
I'll tell you what, I'm not driving.
What's that? Oh, you're not driving.
I'm not driving.
Well, I was going to say, definitely something that I would have been doing in the dorm rooms a lot with my friends would be making ungodly noise that kind of is in this vein. I've
heard some of those tracks too.
I'm sure you have.
I've heard a few.
We hooked up a microphone to a amp and got that kind of vocal distortion and just made some crazy ugly noise, and that's what this is. So it adds a special place in my heart for sure.
So there's an interesting quirk on the first Suitcase that does not happen again until Suitcase 4, where multiple versions of a song will get thrown together in one track.
Oh, yes.
And that is why My Big Day by Turn On Turner is 6 minutes long, because it's the first version.
3 versions.
Yeah, the first version I believe is Same Place the Fly Got Smashed.
Right, which is a Jimmy Pollard and Bob Pollard kind of basement.
Yeah, I can't I think the second version is the one from Corpse Like Sleep with Stupidity.
Yeah.
But that version is arcade. I can't explain what goes on in that. And then it leads me to believe that the recordings are out of order because the third one is like Spring Tigers, Perch Warble sort of thing.
Back to Saturn X kind of.
Yeah, like the Saturn X stuff they recorded in a studio, like the Heartbeat, Canoes.
Yeah.
It's like those. Was it The Garden? I like The Garden.
For My Big Day, I was listening to this on my walk earlier in headphones, and I wanted to point out that the first version has this awesome walking bass line and kind of this weird...
The second version has that one.
Is it the second one?
It is second, because the first one is just Jimmy playing one-chorded Bob screeching. God, Same Place should have had more of those, I mean that. Make that album just detached from reality.
That lineup is Antler, I believe, on other Suitcase tracks.
I noticed this just now. There are no Antler tracks on disc 1. No, you're right about the walking bass line. It's like Bob doesn't really use those in his songs. The people he work with don't use walking bass lines, so it's weird to hear it on all songs that.
Yeah. Such a weird track, and it's funny because there's 3 versions here, and there's a 4th version elsewhere. And
Have It Again.
Oh man,
it's okay.
So beautiful.
I'm not super into it, honestly.
Oh man,
I like it.
It's so good.
The guitar's beautiful, but I'm not into the vocals or the lyrics.
Man.
Like I'm not one to say that Bob's lyrics are tossed off, but if there's any song where it sounds like they are, it's this one.
Wow. I think this one hits me. It's like, what would you give to be 9 or 10 again? And you're thinking like, yeah, that's cute. And then later on, he's like, what would you give to be 49 or 50 again? And I'm sitting there on the... Yeah.
That just doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry. Like, it's a good song, but that doesn't register quite for me.
I think in a just world, like, this song would be like... it would replace, like, Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah.
Oh, God.
And this would be like...
Hallelujah!
It's a nice song.
Yeah. Little Jimmy the Giant. What I believe is still the oldest recording Bob's ever released.
Yeah, it says here 74. That's pretty amazing.
74, 75, I guess. Was it Bob bought his first guitar as a graduation as a graduation thing, which probably would have been 75. Yeah.
And it's kind of funny for such an early recording. Like, there's parts of it where I feel like, Bob is maybe struggling with the rhythm a little bit. But when you really listen, like, it's just the rhythm. He's already got this weird knack of like I don't know, coming up with a very strange rhythm, and maybe he was having trouble playing, like executing it at this point, but it's still, you get a sense of like, he really knows, he's got a really good sense of rhythm. He's got this kind of like swinging, I don't know, syncopated kind of style on this song.
Yeah, I think what's odd about it is, I'm trying to think of who, like, what does it make me think of? Because you think of, like, I don't know, Wire, who have been very influential to Bob. They didn't exist when Bob wrote that. Yeah.
It's a really sweet song about Bob's little brother. And, it's cool that they did a full band version with the crowd later on.
Yeah. Little would we know that Jimmy would be an absolutely integral piece of the Guided by Voices puzzle throughout the 80s and first half of the 90s.
Taco Buffalo,
Bird Dog, and Jesus. Oh, so good.
So good. That phrase, just the words, how, like, I know that they're people and nicknames, but how that strung together, those words are so bizarre and meaningless, but the way he sings, like, the cadence of that little melody it fits so well. It's just, I love that. There's something so satisfying about it to me.
We can say that should have been on something all we want. If there are songs that truly needed to be on something, this was one of them. Taco had.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have fit on Self-Inflicted, because to me that really is Bob's. That is the art rock Guided by Voices album.
Yeah,
that's like
that's the feel good kind of song. It's not arty.
It's
not pretentious at all.
It's a little too Ohio to fit on like Bob out here making early Devo music. Not that I listen to much Devo, but I get the impression that Self-Inflicted is like an early Devo kind of thing.
And we got to mention that the kind of spoken word breakdown on this.
It's not just that there's spoken word; it's that there's spoken word that comes later in the song with Steve Wilbur's guitar solo. That's it's such a weird arrangement.
It really is.
Yeah.
What a fun song. That's just so pure, I don't know, just enjoyable.
It's one of Bob's it's one of Bob's Ohio songs. Like the Taco, Buffalo, Bird Dog, and Jesus sounds like Bob talking about a bunch of dudes he like met at a bar once in Dayton, and I think he said they were his students.
No, they're friends or people he knew. Like
so they were people he knew.
Yeah.
And
I remember at one point there was like an update where like, two of them, we don't know where they are these days. Maybe one of them passed away. Steve Wilbur.
Oh, God.
And yeah, good call. I forgot Steve Wilbur actually plays the solo on this one, and that's always good.
Because Steve Wilbur could let it rip.
Yeah.
Like let's say Doug had done this song, the solo wouldn't sound like that because Steve had a unique lead style.
Yeah. And you could tell that he was coming from a different area of, I think they said he was like a big metalhead or something, right?
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, it's not exactly the way that, say, like Greg would shred, because Greg's leads and Wilbur's leads, they have more in common with each other than either of them do with Doug's leads, but they're still pretty different on their own there. We got one more song to talk about. I don't know
It's all been leading up to this one.
We've all been leading up to the 39-second Ding Dong Getty is back to the bank. Like, this one is definitely Toby on a kit. That really weird lead guitar is just kind of doing like little blues licks on a song that does not demand this at all.
Yeah, I got this going in my headphones right now, and I think it's got to be just something Tobin recorded and passed to Bob, and Bob just kind of did a little fun.
Yeah, and it's only interesting because Bob goes stabbing a star, and that's it.
He sings in a really weird voice too on the song.
Yeah, it's not
this song. I can picture this being on like the end of a tape, where like it's like maybe something that's been half like recorded over or something, and like Bob's maybe recording vocals on another song, and then like
it just shows up.
That one pops up.
It pops up. He says, "Why not? Let's give it a whirl." The thing with this song for me now is that I have heard the phrase "Ding Dong Daddy" since hearing this song, and it was in the Nathan For You finale, so I can only imagine this song in the context of the Nathan For You finale.
Watched that recently. What is the context that Ding Dong Daddy?
Was it
like an old song or something?
It was an old song from I think It was like a town theme from Arkansas.
Oh,
It's from It's from the movie Finding Francis.
Yep.
And it's when
Daddy.
I'm a ding dong daddy from Doomis. It's obviously not what Bob wrote.
God.
I have to wonder. I don't. Is it a phrase? Because I was born in 1999. If it was an old phrase, I wouldn't know it.
Yeah. It's gotta be. It sounds like something that.
But there's also no way Bob would just know a song from a local Arkansas song.
It's a comic book character.
Oh my god. No.
I just googled it. Yeah, DC Comics. Ding Dong Daddy is based on legendary hot rod enthusiast / painter / pinstriper Ed Big Daddy Roth.
Oh my god. I thought Matter Eater Lad was weird. Ding Dong Daddy's back from the bank.
But of course, that song, I'm a Ding Dong Daddy from Doomis, that's from 1928. Oh my god. But that was good. That was disc 1, so yeah, there's a lot of Suitcase to go, so we can only go up from here.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, as far as individual discs go, I mean, it makes sense that this is first. This is loaded with hits. I believe 7 songs from this disc are on the first Briefcase. It's like half the Briefcase is this disc.
Yeah.
Because Bob, I guess Bob wanted the hits front and center, and they absolutely are. What is it? Yeah, there's so many incredible, absolutely incredible songs.